There is a vast difference between the state of worship and the state of devotion. One is of the mind, the other is of being. Imagine your inner world as a great harbor. For many, this harbor is filled with warships. These ships are built from the thoughts, beliefs, and identities we have collected over a lifetime. Each warship flies a different flag, representing a particular group, a specific dogma, or a rigid set of rules. They are heavy with the armor of righteousness and equipped with the cannons of judgment. Their purpose is to defend a territory, to prove others wrong, and to maintain a sense of separation from other ships in the harbor. This is the nature of much of what we call worship today. It is a mental construction, an allegiance to an external form. This kind of worship demands that you choose a warship and pledge your loyalty to it. You must adopt its flag, learn its salutes, and stand ready to defend it against all others. It tells you that your safety and your salvation depend on staying with your fleet. This creates an endless state of potential conflict. The harbor becomes a place of tension, of us versus them. The mind constantly scans the horizon for threats, for ships flying a different flag. This is not peace. This is a perpetual state of unease, disguised as security. It is the ego's favorite game, to create an identity through opposition, to feel stronger by making others weaker or wrong. The warship gives you a role to play, but it keeps you trapped in the harbor, unable to experience the vastness of the ocean. Devotion, on the other hand, is not a warship. Devotion is the open sea itself. It is the deep, silent, and boundless water that connects all harbors, all lands, all beings. To move into devotion is to leave the warship behind. It is to realize that you are not the ship, but the ocean. There is no flag to defend, no enemy to fight. There is only the vast, living presence of the water. Devotion is not an idea you hold in your head, it is a state of being you inhabit. It is the quiet recognition of the sacredness in all things, a deep sense of connection to the totality of life. It does not ask you to join a group, but to dissolve the boundaries that make you feel separate in the first place. It is a journey from the noisy deck of the warship to the silent depths of your own being. When you are in a state of devotion, your actions arise not from a set of memorized rules, but from a place of deep inner alignment. You do not need a captain to shout orders at you. You are guided by the natural currents of life, by the wisdom that is inherent in the present moment. This is a profound shift from doing to being. You are no longer trying to protect a fragile identity built on beliefs. Instead, you are resting in the indestructible truth of your own presence. The warships may continue to patrol the surface, their cannons gleaming in the sun, but you are aware of the silent, peaceful abyss below, where all is one. This is the inner peace that worship promises but can rarely deliver. It is the freedom of the open sea. Many forms of modern worship, though often well-intentioned, have become gilded cages. They offer a sense of belonging and a structured path, but they often do so at the cost of your inner freedom and direct connection to the sacred. These structures can become like the warships in the harbor, demanding conformity and creating separation. They tell you that their way is the only way, their book is the only truth, their rituals are the only path to salvation. This immediately creates a world of insiders and outsiders, of the saved and the unsaved. This division is the root of immense conflict and suffering in the world. When you identify completely with one group, you inherently create an other to oppose. The ego thrives on this dynamic, reinforcing its sense of identity through separation. This leads to a state of blind obedience, where individuals stop questioning and simply follow the established rules. There is a well-known story that illustrates this perfectly. A young woman was preparing a holiday ham, and before placing it in the oven, she carefully cut off both ends. Her partner asked why she did this. She replied, "I'm not sure. It's just how my mother always did it." Curious, she called her mother and asked the same question. Her mother laughed and said, "I don't know either, dear. That's how my mother, your grandmother, always did it." Finally, they called the elderly grandmother and asked why she always cut the ends off the ham. The grandmother thought for a moment and said, "Because my roasting pan was too small." This simple story reveals a profound truth about many of our inherited practices and rituals. We continue to perform them without understanding their original purpose, simply because it has always been done this way. We cut off the ends of the ham, spiritually speaking, long after we have acquired a bigger pan. These outdated practices can lose their living essence and become empty shells. They become a substitute for true inner connection. a performance rather than an authentic experience. This blind adherence to form keeps us trapped in the past and prevents us from responding freshly and creatively to the present moment. It is a surrender of personal power, a choice to live by a script written long ago instead of listening to the wisdom available to you right now. When you give your power away to an external structure, a person, or a set of doctrines, you lose touch with your own inner guidance system. You begin to doubt your own perceptions and your own heart. The institution tells you what to believe, how to feel, and how to behave. This creates a deep dependency. You start looking outside of yourself for answers that can only be found within. The gilded cage may feel safe and comfortable, adorned with promises of reward and security, but it is a cage nonetheless. It limits your spiritual growth and keeps you from discovering the boundless dimension of who you are beyond the conditioned mind. True spiritual awakening involves recognizing the cage, however beautiful, and finding the courage to step out of it. What then is devotion? Devotion is not an act you perform. It is a state of being that you allow to arise from within. It is the natural flowering of your own awakened consciousness. Devotion is the simple, profound recognition of the sacredness inherent in all of life, in every moment. It is not directed at a specific object or person outside of yourself, but is a quality of awareness that you bring to everything. It is the feeling of reverence you might experience when looking at a flower, listening to the rain, or gazing into the eyes of another being. In that moment of pure seeing, without the filter of mental labels and judgments, you are in a state of devotion. You are connected to the formless essence that animates all forms. This state arises from a deep inner alignment. It happens when you are no longer lost in the endless chatter of your mind, the worries about the future, the regrets about the past. When you become present, a new dimension of consciousness opens up. This is the dimension of being. From this place, gratitude flows naturally. It is not a forced thank you for things you have received. It is a deep appreciation for the isness of life itself, for the simple miracle of existence. You feel a sense of wonder for the breath moving through your body, for the light entering your eyes, for the sounds reaching your ears. This gratitude is not dependent on external conditions being good. It is a constant, a baseline of your awareness when you are rooted in the present moment. In this state of devotion, you live with a profound sense of personal integrity. Integrity here means wholeness. It means your actions are no longer fragmented and contradictory, driven by the ego's conflicting desires for gain, approval, or security. Instead, your actions become an authentic expression of your deepest self. You say what you mean and you do what you say, not out of rigid moral principle, but because you are aligned with the truth of your own being. There is no inner conflict. This isn't about becoming a good person in the conventional sense. It is about becoming a whole person, a transparent vehicle for the intelligence of the universe to flow through. This is true freedom. This liberation is the core of devotion. It is freedom from the tyranny of your own mind, from the heavy burden of the psychological self. You are no longer a prisoner of your personal history or your conditioned thought patterns. You realize that you are the awareness behind the thoughts, the stillness behind the noise. This is not a belief, it is a direct experience. In this space of inner freedom, doubt cannot survive. Doubt is a product of the mind, which is always uncertain. But the deep inner knowing that comes with devotion is unshakable. It is the peace of God, which the Bible says passeth all understanding. It passes all understanding because it does not come from the mind. It comes from a place far deeper. The path of devotion, this journey into inner presence, is not a selfish pursuit. While it begins with the liberation of the individual, its effects ripple outward to touch the whole of humanity and the planet. When you cease to operate from the egoic consciousness of separation, you naturally cease to create conflict. The worship of your personal identity, with its need to be right and to make others wrong, is decommissioned. You no longer contribute to the collective insanity of us versus them. Your very presence becomes a force for peace in the world, not because you are actively trying to make peace, but because peace is your very nature. You are a space of stillness in a noisy world, and others can feel that. This shift benefits the individual in the most profound way possible. It brings an end to inner suffering. The constant anxiety, the gnawing dissatisfaction, the fear of loss, all of these are products of the egoic mind, which is always insecure and incomplete. By shifting your identity from the mind to the awareness behind it, you step out of that stream of suffering. You find a peace that is not dependent on whether things are going your way. This is not a state of apathy or detachment. On the contrary, you become more alive, more engaged with the world, but you do so from a place of deep inner stability and joy. This is the freedom that all human beings are ultimately seeking, whether they know it or not. As more individuals make this inner shift, the collective consciousness of humanity begins to transform. A society composed of people rooted in devotion would look very different from the one we have now. There would be less greed, because the frantic search for more things to complete the ego would have ceased. There would be less violence, because the need to defend a mental position or a tribal identity would have dissolved. Cooperation would arise naturally, not as a calculated strategy, but from the recognition that the well-being of the other is inseparable from your own. We would honor the earth not because of a political ideology, but out of a deep, devotional reverence for life in all its forms. This is not a utopian fantasy. It is the next necessary step in human evolution. The old consciousness, based on ego and separation, has brought us to a critical point. Its structures are beginning to crumble, and its conflicts are becoming ever more dangerous. The only way forward is a transformation of consciousness. This transformation cannot be legislated or enforced. It can only happen one person at a time, through the quiet, courageous choice to turn inward. By embracing the path of devotion, you are not just healing yourself, you are contributing to the healing of the world. You become a living embodiment of the new earth, a portal through which a more sane and loving reality can emerge. This understanding of devotion over worship is not a new idea. It's actually a timeless truth that has been expressed by mystics and sages across all traditions and throughout history. The ancient wisdom teachings, when you look beneath the surface of their cultural and religious forms, all point to the same essential reality. They speak of an inner awakening, a direct experience of the divine that transcends dogma and ritual. Jesus spoke of the kingdom of heaven that is within you. The Buddha spoke of nirvana, the extinguishing of the egoic self, which reveals the boundless nature of consciousness. The sages of the Upanishads in ancient India spoke of Atman, the individual soul, being one with Brahman, the ultimate reality. These teachings were not asking for blind worship of a person or a text. They were offering a roadmap for inner discovery. They were pointing the way for you to realize this truth for yourself. Over time, however, the pointers were often mistaken for the destination. The living words of the enlightened masters were turned into rigid doctrines. The direct experience they pointed to was replaced by a system of beliefs to be accepted on faith. The warship fleets were built around the memory of these great teachers, and their names were put on the flags. The original, liberating message became obscured by layers of mental interpretation, institutional control, and cultural tradition. The true masters of ancient wisdom did not ask for followers to worship them. They sought to awaken others to their own inner master. They knew that true spiritual authority comes not from an external source, but from the direct connection to being within. They encouraged inquiry, self-observation, and presence. The core practice they taught, in various forms, was to go beyond the thinking mind. Whether through meditation, mindful work, or deep inquiry, the goal was to create a gap in the stream of thought, allowing a deeper dimension of intelligence to emerge. This is the essence of devotion, a state of alert stillness where you are open and receptive to the sacred. So, when we speak of shifting from worship to devotion, we are not discarding ancient wisdom. We are rediscovering its living heart. We are looking past the accumulated layers of history and dogma to connect with the essential, timeless truth that these teachings were always pointing to. It is an act of reclaiming our spiritual inheritance, not as a set of rules to be obeyed, but as a living guide to inner freedom. It is about realizing that the kingdom of heaven is not a future promise, but a present reality available to you now, in the stillness between your thoughts. The ancient echoes are calling us back to ourselves. The concept of worship often implies a hierarchy, a higher being to be appeased and a lower being who must perform rituals of obedience. This creates a dynamic of separation and dependency. True spiritual maturity, however, reframes this entire relationship. It is not about worshiping a master, it is about embodying mastery. And what is mastery? Mastery is not the accumulation of power or knowledge for personal gain. True mastery is the complete alignment of your life with your inner purpose, and that purpose is always, in some way, to be of service. It is the realization that your greatest fulfillment comes not from getting, but from giving. When you are living in a state of devotion, service is not a duty or a sacrifice. It is the joyful and effortless overflow of the abundance you feel within. You give because you are full. You serve the community not to gain approval or to earn a place in heaven, but because it is the natural expression of your love and gratitude for life. The master carpenter does not struggle with the wood. He works in harmony with it, bringing forth its hidden beauty. In the same way, a person living in devotion works in harmony with life, serving the needs of the moment with skill, presence, and care. Their work becomes a form of meditation, a sacred act. This kind of service is not limited to grand, heroic gestures. It is found in the quality of attention you bring to the simplest tasks. It is the way you listen to another person, giving them the space of your full presence without judgment. It is the care with which you prepare a meal, clean a room, or write an email. When you infuse these ordinary actions with the quality of devotion, they become extraordinary. They become your contribution to the world, your way of honoring the sacredness of the present moment. This is how mastery is expressed in daily life. It is not about doing great things, but about doing small things with great presence. Therefore, we can reframe worship not as subservience, but as the deep respect and attention you give to your craft, your relationships, and your life itself. Your worship is the quality of your work. You honor the divine by allowing your unique gifts to flow through you for the benefit of all. This shifts the focus from an external deity to the divinity that seeks expression through you. You are no longer a servant begging for favors, but a co-creator with the universe. You are a channel through which the formless intelligence of life can manifest in the world of form. This is a position of immense dignity and power, not the power of the ego, but the power of presence. Each person is born with a unique gift, a particular way in which the universe seeks to express itself through them. This is your true essence. However, for many people, this essence remains dormant, buried under layers of conditioning, fear, and self-doubt. The rigid structures of conventional worship can often contribute to this suppression. They ask you to conform, to fit into a predefined mold, to be a good follower rather than a unique creator. You are taught to distrust your own inner impulses and to adhere to the external rules. The worship demands uniformity among its crew. Individuality is seen as a threat to the smooth operation of the machine. Devotion, however, does the opposite. By connecting you to the deep stillness of your inner being, it dissolves the layers of fear and conditioning that obscure your true nature. It is like the sun melting away the morning frost, revealing the vibrant life underneath. In the space of presence, you are no longer defined by your past or by the opinions of others. You are free to be yourself. This freedom allows your unique talents and gifts to emerge naturally. You may discover a talent for art, for healing, for teaching, for building, or simply for bringing a sense of peace to those around you. This is not something you have to find, it is something you allow to unfold. When your actions are fueled by this inner devotion, they carry a special quality, a power that is deeply inspiring to others. People are not moved by the perfection of your technique, but by the love and presence that flow through your work. A song sung from the heart touches the soul in a way that a technically perfect but lifeless performance cannot. A meal cooked with loving attention nourishes more than just the body. When you allow your essence to shine, you give others permission to do the same. Your authenticity becomes a beacon, reminding others of the beauty and power that lies dormant within them as well. This is how we create a better world together. Not by forcing everyone to conform to a single ideology, but by encouraging each person to blossom into their fullest, most authentic expression. A garden is beautiful not because all the flowers are the same, but because of the harmonious diversity of its many different blooms. Similarly, a healthy human society thrives on the unique gifts of all its members. The shift to devotion is a shift from a monoculture of belief to a vibrant ecosystem of being. It is the recognition that when you honor the divine within yourself, you are empowered to honor and celebrate the divine in everyone and everything around you. The journey we have been exploring is a fundamental shift in perception, a movement from the illusion of separation to the reality of oneness. The consciousness of the worship is built entirely on separation. It requires borders, enemies, and a constant state of defense. This is the world created by the egoic mind. It is a world of fragmentation, conflict, and fear. This mental state is the source of all human-made suffering. We draw lines on maps, in our minds, and in our hearts, and then we spend our lives defending those lines. We forget that these lines are mental constructs, not ultimate realities. We are like actors who have become so lost in their roles that they have forgotten they are on a stage. The path of devotion is the path of waking up from this dream of separation. It begins with the simple, yet profound realization that you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness in which the thoughts appear. This one step creates the inner space needed for the illusion to begin to dissolve. In that space, you begin to sense the underlying connectedness of all things. You see that the same life that animates you also animates the tree outside your window, the bird in the sky, and the person you once called an other. You are not a separate fragment in a hostile universe. You are a wave in the single ocean of consciousness. This realization is the deepest form of love. It is not the sentimental, exclusive love of the ego, which is always conditional and can quickly turn to its opposite. It is the unconditional, inclusive love that arises from the recognition of oneness. It is the peace that comes from knowing that, at the deepest level, there is nothing that is not you. How can you be in conflict when there is no other? How can you feel fear when you are one with all that is? This is not an intellectual concept to be understood, but a living reality to be experienced. It is the end of the war, both within yourself and in your relationship with the world. Therefore, the call to move from worship to devotion is a call to come home. It is an invitation to leave the noisy, conflicted decks of the warships and to merge with the silent, peaceful ocean of being. It is a call to end our allegiance to divisive ideas and to embrace our shared essence. This is not about destroying religions or traditions, but about finding the living truth within them, the truth of oneness that they all point to. Every moment offers you a choice, to reinforce the illusion of separation, or to rest in the reality of connection. By choosing connection, by choosing presence, by choosing devotion, you answer the deepest calling of your soul and contribute to the dawning of a new consciousness on this planet.